from Harris HQ. I'm Ryan Thompson. I'm the Chief Mobilization Officer on the Harris Walz campaign.
And I'm Nadia Nisha Belkin, the AA-NHPI Engagement Director for the Harris Walz campaign. We're back.
We're back.
And we are so excited to welcome you all to our debate watch party. Thank you all for tuning in and showing your support for Vice President Harris on this historic evening.
Now, before we get to the show, we wanted to take a moment to thank each and every one of you for everything you've done so far and continue to do every single day to support the Harris Walz ticket. All of the work that you all put in, the calls, the donations, sharing content with your networks, it's truly fueling this campaign. And we wouldn't be entering tonight in such a strong place without you. Over the next 56 days, we'll have a lot of work to do, and we're hoping you'll keep up the good work with us. One of the testaments to your dedication to this effort is apparent in our August fundraising numbers. In August, we raised $361 million, overwhelmingly from grassroots supporters like you, which helped us triple the amount that Donald Trump raised. We're putting that money to good work right away in our battleground states, which we'll talk about later in the program. I also wanted you to know that you're not alone in taking action with our campaign. More than 500,000 volunteers have stepped up in the past 7 weeks to support Team Harris Walz across the country.
Well, we are matching that energy on the ground in battleground states with a great show planned for you tonight. Before we get to the program, a quick plug. Head to store.kamalaharris.com to check out some of our campaign merch. If you add this merch discount code, FREEDOM, you will get 20% off your purchase. And just remember, with Kamala Harris, you have the freedom to choose.
That's right.
Okay, ahead of the debate tonight, you are going to hear from campaign staffers here at HQ who will fill you in on the latest updates from the battleground states, as well as more opportunities for you to stay involved with the campaign. We're also going to be checking in with watch parties happening across the country, including California, Wisconsin, and Arizona.
That's right. And coming up, we're going to be joined by Governor Tim Walz, live from one of those watch parties in Arizona. It's going to be an exciting night. And folks, we'll be right back after this short break.
His lies never stop.
$35 insulin. You know who did that? I did that.
Obviously not true. Here's Joe Biden signing that piece of legislation.
During my 4 years, I had the best environmental numbers.
Trump rolled back environmental protections and dismissed climate change.
Project 25. I don't know anything about it.
Donald Trump has been at our organization. He's blessed it. He's very supportive of what we do.
I'm a better looking person. Roe v. Wade back to the States. No inflation. I did nothing wrong.
Here's the truth. Donald Trump has been and always will be a liar.
Our campaign is the underdog campaign.
Oh, yeah.
And the only way we win is to keep the pedal to the metal for these next many, many days that we have.
I talk about it being halftime in America, and we can decide. We're a touchdown down, but once you start that momentum, people want to be part of something that's winning. They want to be part of something that's good, and they want to be part of something that everybody can be a part of. And I kind of like the idea of being a little bit behind.
Well, I'm looking at Coach Walz right now. I'm looking at Coach Walz.
All right, folks, welcome back. We're now going live to a watch party in Arizona to hear from Governor Tim Walz. Governor Walz, welcome to the show.
Thank you to each and every one of you for the work you're doing, putting us in this position. And in just a few minutes, we're going to see Kamala Harris take the stage, a visionary leader, lay out a new way forward for America, a positive vision where everybody matters, where an opportunity for everybody in the middle class to thrive, the ability to make your own healthcare decisions, and the ability to tackle the toughest problems like climate change. Contrast that with an angry old man who wants power for himself. He's going to talk about himself the entire time. He's going to talk about why he needs to be in power. And we know that the absolute train wreck that was the Trump presidency can't be allowed to happen again. So it's all of you who are going to get it done. The vice president, she'll do her work tonight. We need to do our work. 56 days, people. All gas, no brakes, sleep when you're dead. Let's get this thing won. Thanks for all you're doing.
Thank you, Governor Walz, and thanks to all of these incredible supporters at that watch party with you in Arizona. Folks, on the call, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with you soon.
All right, we're clear.
The one thing Kamala Harris has always been: fearless. As a prosecutor, she put murderers and abusers behind bars. As California's Attorney General, she went after the big banks and won $20 billion for homeowners. And as Vice President, she took on the big drug companies to cap the cost of insulin for seniors. Because Kamala Harris has always known who she represents.
This campaign is about who we fight for. We believe in a future where every person has the opportunity not just to get by, but to get ahead. Where every senior can retire with dignity. But Donald Trump wants to take our country backward, to give tax breaks to billionaires and big corporations and end the Affordable Care Act. But we are not going back. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Welcome back, everybody. We're now joined by Kevin Munoz, senior spokesperson for the Harris-Walz campaign, who's going to tell you all about what you can expect to see tonight during the debate between Vice President Harris and Donald Trump. Welcome.
Thank you. Well, look, guys, tonight's debate is going to showcase two very different visions for America, and we can expect that Donald Trump will come ready to put on a show. This will be his 7th general election debate. That's the most of any candidate in modern history. And we know he's been preparing harder than he has before. His constant lies, they're going to make it hard for moderators to fact check him as well, and it's going to make him difficult to prepare for. And his team, his handlers, have insisted on muted microphones to keep him as disciplined as possible. But look, the American people don't want another show. They want a real leader. They will see that in Vice President Harris, that she is fighting to make their lives better by increasing economic opportunity and protecting our freedoms. And then they'll see Donald Trump, a man that tonight, when he's not talking about himself, will be pushing a dark, backwards-looking agenda and is really only focused on himself. So the vice president's ready to debate. She's prepared to share a vision for a new way forward for our country, one that finally turns the page on Trump's chaos and division. But before we do that, let's not forget just how bad Trump's time in office actually was. Trump's first term cost the country millions of jobs, left us on the brink of a recession, and gave massive handouts to billionaires and big corporations. He, in his own words, proudly overturned Roe v. Wade and ripped away reproductive freedom from millions of Americans. He fawned over dictators and alienated our allies, and he tried to overturn the 2020 election in a desperate attempt to hold on to power. But make no mistake, when we talk about this election, we have to remind ourselves what he'll do if he gets the chance again. He wants to purge the government of anyone not sufficiently loyal and replace them with MAGA loyalists who will empower him to rule as a dictator on day one. Those who worked closest with Trump warn he should never be president again. But that's not where he stops. Let's just take a look at the full plan, his Project 2025 agenda. He's going to eliminate the independence of the Department of Justice. That will give Trump unprecedented control and unchecked power. He will ban abortion nationwide, restricting access to contraception and IVF, and forcing states to even report on a woman's miscarriage or abortion. He will put Social Security and Medicare on the chopping block and end the Affordable Care Act. He will gut the Department of Education and all funding for K-12 education. Then we got the tax breaks for billionaires and big corporations. He's going to make working families foot the bill. His plans, in his own words, what he said in Battleground, North Carolina, would increase costs by $4,000 a year by slapping a Trump sales tax on goods that families rely on. We're talking gas, we're talking food, clothing, medicine, everyday goods. America has seen the damage Trump inflicted, and we are not going back. Vice President Harris and Governor Walz are fighting for a new way forward. And you know, Vice President Harris has always been a fearless fighter for the American people. As a prosecutor, as Attorney General of the biggest state in the country, as a U.S. Senator, and now as Vice President, she has spent her entire career standing up for everyday Americans against predators, scammers, and powerful interests. As Vice President, she helped deliver historic progress across the country. And now she's running to chart a new way forward, one that protects reproductive freedoms, strengthens our democracy, and ensures that every person has the opportunity to not just get by, but to get ahead. So the choice is going to be incredibly clear tonight. The Harris-Walz ticket will always put the American people first, and Donald Trump will always put his own interests first.
Thank you so much, Kevin. It's clear that there is a lot that we should be listening to and listening for tonight. I just sitting here, I've been nodding and shaking and disagreeing, but we know what we need to listen for. All right, folks, we're now going to check in on one of our watch parties in the Vice President's hometown of Oakland, California. Wow. It looks like everyone in Oakland is ready for this debate. Thank you all for your support tonight. Yes, let's go Oakland! Folks, we're gonna be right back with more from HQ right after this quick break.
What could a second Trump administration look like?
Project 2025.
Project 2025. This 922-page handbook
concentrates power solely in the hands of the president.
Trump's Project 2025 agenda
is a threat to middle-class families, cutting Social Security benefits,
cuts to Medicare, higher taxes for working-class Americans,
dismantling the Departments of Education, restricting abortion rights.
Donald Trump wants to take our country backward, but we are not going back.
Here's a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems.
Oh, she had a big crowd. Oh, the crowd.
This weird obsession with crowd sizes. It just goes on and on and on. America's ready for a new chapter. We are ready for a President Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
We are now joined by Soumya Narachenya, my dear friend, Deputy Battleground Director for the Harris campaign, who's going to share our pathway to 270. Welcome, Soumya.
Hey, Brian. Thanks for having me. I love that we're matching.
I got it.
Very great. Folks, as you know, we are less than 60 days out from Election Day, and Vice President Harris and Governor Walz remain the clear underdogs in this race. The 2020 election was decided by a razor-thin margin of just 40,000 votes. And you can expect that this election will be no different. But we are prepared. This campaign has been building on-the-ground infrastructure. We have 312 coordinated offices and over 2,000 coordinated staff across our battleground states, because we know this is going to be another close contest. And it's going to be those small margins in the states that will decide this election. The historic enthusiasm for the Harris-Walz ticket has made August the best grassroots fundraising month in presidential history. Nearly 3 million donors gave, and almost half of them were first-time donors who did not contribute in 2020. These resources are being put to immediate use with efforts like last weekend's record-breaking Weekend of Action, during which volunteers just like you knocked on more than 216,000 doors and contacted more than 1.4 million voters across all of our battleground states. And by the way, we also had a 370 million paid media campaign running. Our candidates, Vice President Harris and Governor Walz, as well as some of our top surrogates, are crisscrossing key states all over the country. And they're laying out the Vice President's vision for a new way forward. Later this week, the Vice President will barnstorm North Carolina and will also be back in Pennsylvania. Governor Walz will visit Wisconsin and Michigan. Ahead of that, tonight's debate will be a key opportunity for the American people to see in prime time why Vice President Harris is the best choice in this election.
She absolutely is. Thank you, Soumya, for those updates. And thank you to all of our amazing supporters who are doing such great work, not only in these key battleground states, but all over the country. We're truly grateful. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
In this election, we each face a question. What kind of country do we want to live in? There are some people who think we should be a country of chaos, of fear, of hate. But us, we choose something different. We choose freedom. The freedom not just to get by, but get ahead. The freedom to be safe from gun violence. The freedom to make decisions about your own body. We choose a future where no child lives in poverty, where we can all afford health care, where no one is above the law. We believe in the promise of America, and we're ready to fight for it. Because when we fight, we win. So join us. Go to KamalaHarris.com and let's get to work.
I'ma keep on running cause the winner don't quit on themselves.
Joined by Erica, an organizer from the battleground state of Georgia.
Hey, Erica.
Manager in Atlanta for the Democratic Party of Georgia. I'm proud to be here to represent some of the most passionate, committed organizers around. Our team leads with purpose, with spirit, and with joy. Every day, our volunteers from all walks of life stop by our campaign offices around Atlanta with a simple question: how can I help? How can I help make our community safer? How can I help make sure people don't just get by, but thrive and get ahead? How can I help protect our fundamental freedoms? And y'all know what I tell them, what we tell them. You can help send Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to the White House. Georgia voters know exactly what's at stake this November. We've delivered victories in some of the most defining elections of our lives, like when we elected Raphael Warnock, John Ossoff, and Joe Biden. And us Georgians never take our sacred right to vote for granted. We know that our vote is our voice, and we're going to lift our voices as loud as we can from now until November 5th. Visit go.kamalaharris.com to join our campaign and tell your friends to sign up too. We need you to help us talk to as many supporters and voters as we can until November. Join us by visiting go.kamalaharris.com, and we can't wait to see you out in the field. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Erica. I'm ready to just send myself to Georgia right now. Thank you so much for joining the fight and showcasing how and why it's important for supporters to engage with this campaign. There really are so many ways to get involved. We promise that there is a place for everyone here.
And I think we're going to take a quick short break and we'll be back soon.
Like I have white guy tacos and
What does
like
that
black,
mean? Like mayonnaise and tuna? What are you doing?
pretty much ground beef and cheese.
That's
and
okay. Do you put any flavor in it?
No.
Oh.
Here's the deal. No, they said to be careful and let her know this, that black pepper is the top of the spice level in Minnesota, you know.
I'm the first vice president, I believe, who has ever grown chili peppers.
I'm trying to expand
We'll figure that-
my food knowledge.
You know what? We've got some cantaloupes. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Our campaign is the underdog campaign.
Oh, yeah.
And the only way we win is to keep the pedal to the metal for these next many, many days that we have.
I talk about it being halftime in America, and we can decide. We're a touchdown down, but once you start that momentum, people want to be part of something that's winning. They want to be part of something that's good, and they want to be part of something that everybody can be a part of. And I kind of like the idea of being a little bit behind.
Well, I'm looking at Coach Walz right now. I'm looking at Coach Walz.
All right, folks, let's check in with Sean McFeely at one of our watch parties in Wisconsin. Hey, Sean, what are you seeing? What are you hearing?
We're seeing tremendous energy behind the Vice President and Governor Walz. Right now, we have more than 300 watch parties in our state, and I am coming to you live from one of our parties in Madison. We have a lot of activity on the ground today, but it's not the only time you can get involved in our campaign. We're planning actions you can take every single day during the final 8 weeks before Election Day. Folks, I don't want you to miss the opportunity to join us. So whether you're in Wisconsin with me or another one of our battleground states, visit go.kamalaharris.com today to sign up for a shift and get involved in our campaign. Back over to you, Remington.
Great, thank you so much, Sean. It looks like the volunteers are ready to roll in 300 watch parties. Way to go. All right, it's almost time for the debate. We wanted to thank all of our amazing staffers who joined us on the show tonight and our incredible supporters at the watch parties in Oakland and in Wisconsin, and to Governor Walz in Arizona. We especially want to thank all of you for tuning in tonight.
Before we watch Kamala Harris win this debate, I wanted y'all to know, please go to go.kamalaharris.com where you can find an event near you or other ways to volunteer and get involved in our campaign. There are just so many ways to support this campaign, and we promise there is a place for everyone. Thank you all again. Please remember to keep up the hard work, and please remember to stay tuned for the debate tonight. Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Talk soon.
So good to be with everyone. This is going to be a great week.
We are here tonight to officially nominate Kamala Harris for president. Five, get loud, another round of shots. DHC, turn out for what?
Minnesota, we deliver 81 votes for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz.
California, we proudly cast our 482 votes for the next president, Kamala Harris.
She'll be a president our children could look up to.
She finds joy in pursuing justice.
Kamala, your mom would be so proud of you.
Defend truth, defend democracy and decency. Vote for our bedrock values and vote for Kamala Harris.
The choice could not be clearer. Donald Trump rants about law and order, as if he wasn't a convicted criminal running against a prosecutor.
There's the childish nicknames, the crazy conspiracy theories, this weird obsession with crowd sizes.
I want to know, who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs?
We've got something better to offer the American people. It starts with our candidate, Kamala Harris.
I accept your nomination to be President of the United States of America. It is now our turn to do what generations before us have done, guided by optimism and faith to uphold the awesome responsibility that comes with the greatest privilege on earth, the privilege and pride of being an American. So let's get out there, let's fight for it, let's vote for it, and together, let us write the next great chapter in the most extraordinary story ever told.